Hey. Welcome to the NCAA March Madness second round press conference with Oklahoma. We are joined by Liz Scott, Taylor Robinson, Maddie Williams, Nevaeh Tott, Anna Yunusa, thank you. We ask that you please only ask questions when you have the microphone in your hand and that you state your name and publication. If you have joined us through Zoom today, please ask your question in the chat and include your publication as well. Thank you, and we will start with questions from the room.
Taking you in with the LA Times. Nevaeh, you guys are one of the top scoring teams in really the whole country. What's it like being the point guard on this team that has just so much offensive firepower to work with?
I would say it's pretty awesome. I mean, I got three top scorers. That's three top scorers in the country, and we like playing together. We like sharing the ball. That's what Jenny taught us when she came here.
Is there a challenge to that too? You have to make sure you kind of read the game right, make sure you feed the hot shooter, but also you want to keep things balanced too. How do you kind of manage those things?
Yeah, we try to keep things balanced, but we all can score, and I think when we share the ball, anybody can get open. So,
Anna, for you, what do you think? A lot of coaches talk about relying on your identity, especially now in March. What do you think is the identity of this team that's going to carry you guys through the season or the tournament?
I think our identity is that we play hard, and we know who we are as players and as a team. So every time we go out on the floor, we try to do what we do best, and we all can sit here and say exactly what we do to a T that's going to help us win a game every single time. And so just focusing on those things for us.
Well, you guys are super experienced, so was it a matter of, did you have to kind of rediscover that identity sometime this season? Is there a time where that kind of started clicking for you, or do you think you just already know?
Yeah, no, I think we know. We've been playing with each other for a very long time. Maddie, T-Rob, and I for, 5 years now, and then the rest of us for 3 years. And so that's a long time to get to know somebody's identity and know the strengths of each and every one of the people we're playing with.
Maddie, speaking to that experience, just how do you think all of that time, all of those games you guys have spent together is going to help you as you go through this tournament?
It's just like an experience thing. I think that, and also like a trust factor. We've been able to build that trust with each other that if there's anything that we're lacking, somebody's going to pick it up. So,
Taylor, what do you think that experience means to you, and what's this journey been like for you at Oklahoma? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think that since we've been playing together for so long, we have this connection that not a lot of teams have. We already know what each other is going to do before we even do it, and it just makes playing really easy. And just being able to experience this especially with Maddie and Anna for 5 years now, it's just really cool to be able to do this with them, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
When you think back to when you first came to Oklahoma as freshmen 5 years ago, how would you describe the way you guys have grown, just the three of you, the redshirt seniors?
I mean, I think we've grown in all areas, on and off the floor. I think we've just grown and kept getting better each year and just kept growing our games and just working on what we can get better at. And by doing that, it makes our whole team better, and we've all done that, and that's just why our team is so special.
Anna, do you think that the freshman version of you could imagine being here 5 years later?
It's been a long time. That was a long time ago, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity and to be able to experience this for as long as I've gotten to.
Liz, what's kind of been the impression of UCLA, and what are some things that you guys have to keep in mind for tomorrow's game?
They're a good team, but right now we're just focused on us, and, we're going to worry about them tomorrow. So,
I have a follow-up question to that from Joe Reedy with the AP. Is UCLA similar to any opponent you have faced this year, especially a team that has 5 freshmen?
wait, repeat the question?
Yeah. So Joe Reedy from the AP. Is UCLA a similar opponent? Is UCLA similar to any opponent you have faced this year, especially with a team that has 5 freshmen?
Nah. Probably not this year. I think the closest that we had to that was K-State last year. They had a pretty good freshman class that started a lot of games, and they were able to come out with some wins last year. So, y'all think anybody else that's close to UCLA?
Do we have any more questions from the room or the chat? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
You want me to? I kind of wanted to, but I kind of have already thrown them off a little bit. Tend to do that a little too.
Okay. Welcome to the NCAA March Madness second round press conference with Oklahoma head coach Jenny Baranczyk. We ask that you please only ask a question when you have the microphone in your hand and that you state your name and publication. If you have joined us through Zoom today, please ask your questions in the chat and include your publication as well. Thank you, and we will begin with an opening statement from Coach.
Well, just excited to be here. I thought, it's always fun to be able to make it to that next round in the NCAA tournament. So really proud of this group. Love coaching this team and just want to coach this team as long as we possibly can.
Chickney win with the LA Times. What's your impression of what UCLA brings to the court?
Oh, I think UCLA is, they're very talented. They're very deep. They play a lot of people. Obviously, their guard play is incredible. And then they can stretch the floor on you. And then also, I feel like they do a great job on the defensive end and play. They've been battle tested. I mean, they've beat Stanford. They've obviously won some really big games. And so this is a game that we've got to be ready. And I'm excited for the environment as well. I thought last night, the UCLA crowd really showed up, and that's what we want in our sport. We want it no matter where you are, you want to be able to play in front of a lot of people, because I think the more that people continue to come, the more they fall in love with this game.
We just talked to all your players, and they seem to have just like this very tight-knitness about them because they've played together for a really long time. So how do you feel like that kind of shared experience helps you guys in this tournament?
Well, I feel like, I love this group. You can tell, and I love that you were able to see that in probably, 2.5 minutes, and it's real and it's authentic. And I feel like these women do an incredible job of, yes, they support each other, but they also can challenge each other, but they also cheer each other on. And it's real. I love that. Last night after the press conference, and there were different questions about different teammates and the way that they talk about each other. They just light up when they're talking about each other, and I think that that translates onto the floor. And so I feel like you can face some adversity, you can trust each other, your greatness can come out when people cover for each other. And especially when a group of women get their minds together, it's pretty amazing what can happen.
Is there a point in the season in terms of like adversity where you can really remember that experience paying off?
Well, I think every season we kind of create some adversity, and then you kind of have some adversity that hits you a little bit. And I don't know if there was a single point. I think, you always look at any of your losses. Those are great opportunities to be able to learn. But even some of your wins that you really had to gut out, and we've had a lot of those end-of-game situations. And ironically, what's fun is being able to play on the road and to be able to figure those things out. And that's what's going to be able to really propel us tomorrow. I feel like a huge part was also going to the NCAA tournament a year ago and having most of our core back and being able to have that experience. First understanding, we played at home last year, but you played a very, very good 13 seed in IUPUI a year ago. So coming into the game last night where you know that you're playing a 12 seed, you understand really how good a 12 seed is. And so I feel like we were able to really understand that and prepare for that. And then also understand how difficult it is to play on the road. And so hopefully that experience comes out as we step across the lines tomorrow.
Thank you. We have a question from Joe Reedy with the AP. This seems like a youth versus experience matchup, but at this time of year, are the freshmen not freshmen anymore?
Well, I don't know if you can actually count UCLA's freshmen as freshmen. So let's be real. From a standpoint, I mean, they're so talented. But we're not going into this game saying, oh, well, we have experience, therefore we're just going to show up and then the experience takes care of itself. You got to work and it's March and anybody can do anything. And sometimes there's a youthfulness that when you don't have that experience, you just play. And then sometimes when you get to the point that you are experienced, you understand how much better it is to just play. And so that's where I'm hoping in this game tomorrow, it's going to be a great game for women's basketball, but it's not a youth first experience because some of our experience, what they've had as their experience is pretty darn good, from a first year. And so when you have that kind of experience, and our group has built something. Their freshman year, they were 4-14 in the Big 12, and then look at what they've done over years. And I'm so proud of that. I mean, to go from 4-14 their freshman year to 14-4, their senior year, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal growth to be able to really build a program. But we're not afraid of really anything. We're not afraid of losing. We're not afraid of falling on our face. We're not afraid of winning. We just go and we play.
And another question from Joe Reedy. How much of a challenge do Rice and Osborne present?
Again, I think they're two phenomenal guards, and they're so quick off the bounce. I think they do it on both ends. They're very, very crafty. What makes Osborne, I think, so special too is she makes other people get involved. So although she can score at all the different levels and she's very quick and she's physical on the inside, she just gets everybody around her better. And then obviously Rice, I think, as a freshman, look at what she's been able to do as well. And so they provide so many challenges from a defensive standpoint. And at the same time, I think they do an incredible job on their defense too.
Something Corey was talking about is kind of managing the moment or like finding the line in March about focus, but also like having fun and being loose. So how do you do that with your team?
Well, I think if anybody can actually figure that out, right, they're going to be the gatekeeper of all time. But I feel like it's just being who we are in the moment. There's not a special, if we need to yell at our team, we need to yell at them, right? If we need to kind of steady them up, then we got to steady them up. And you could kind of see that through that first round from our standpoint. There were times I felt like we were a little frantic that we needed to steady, and then there were other times we needed to really turn it. So I think just finding the balance it's so individualized, but it also really comes to, as you step across the lines, it's basketball, and you want to play basketball. And if you put everything on one little outcome, whether it's a missed layup or a missed defensive assignment or a missed box out, and you carry it into the next possession, then you're going to struggle a little bit. But if you can literally separate play by play and do it with a smile on your face, then we know we're doing our jobs.
You're good? Any last questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody. Boomer, thanks for coming with women's basketball, too.